Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Um, we're doing something. Uh, Hopefully this is content people want to see. I did this body down here and did a nice fancy kind of sparkle paint job reminiscent of the 70s and kind of a lowrider-esque kind of a feel, just because it's all the same basic stuff. But obviously not as fancy as the lowriders get to do the swirls and things like that I'm not doing. This is just more for a sporty kind of thing, just a fun deal for these, because these bodies I built and just wanted to get something nice up for, well, racing. That's all it is. The bodies aren't perfect because of racing. So that being said, spending time, like this one up here was, I think, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, from concept to build to paint, all that. So, and of course the paint is not perfect, which is perfect. What I mean by that is these are going to be raced, and cars can run into them, they could run into the fence, all that kind of stuff. So along with that, just the nature of them going down sand will scratch and do stuff to the bodies. It's the way it is. It's a race car. It's meant to do that. It's got a job. Now, something that I was going to be, say, show car, I could spend 2 to 3 weeks or more just painting the body, right? And so that being said, this is the body that we're going to be taking on. Now, this has a grill that goes in. Nice plastic grill. We'll talk about if we're going to do anything to that. Also has these LED light bezels. I'm not sure if I can change the color. We'll see. But what I have done, now I've mounted this. I've got the Proline extended body mounts with the screw heads there, just standard ones in the front for now. I'm hoping to get the Proline kit so that it's all just the screw-ons. But for now, we've got some holes here, but these were previous mounting holes. All of this, and on the side, both sides. This wasn't a bad thing. If you look inside, you can kind of see the Grim Reaper stickers. These were on the side. You may have seen it in the background. This is wrap material, so it's printed very nice. So I had to take those off because I'm painting the outside and fill all the holes. So I just put them on the inside. I like the fact that you can kind of see it through the windows, and through the back you'll see it, which is just fine. I like it. But we are going to paint the outside of the body, which means all these little holes and gaps. If we were just running this, bashing this, didn't care, it wasn't a limited body, yeah, we just slap a paint job on it, half decent, and leave the holes. Who cares? But because I want to do this more in a show car kind of a finish, do a really nice paint job on this, yeah, I'm filling the holes. And since we're painting on the outside, we can do that. So all I've done is use this Mr. White Putty. It's fine stuff. You can use pretty much any putty, body filler that you want. I did tape across the hole on the back. Here, I taped across it. Actually, that's not true. I smeared the Mr. White Putty around the edge and then taped over that, and then went through and filled this from the outside. Essentially what I'm trying to do is create some sort of a plug. Okay, this is going to get covered in paint, as well as this. This is all going to get a nice gray coat onto it so that we can have a good surface, sand everything down smooth, and have a good surface to start with. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to sand all this smooth, and we're going to go through, do the painting. So it's basically going to be a paint tutorial, especially if you're painting the outside of your thing. You've painted the inside, you're done with that, you've got some scratches, things like that. All that stuff you can fix and make smooth. So it doesn't matter. I think this has even got a few scratches on it, but it doesn't matter because we're painting the outside. So welcome to the journey. Hopefully you enjoy this, and we'll continue on with the video. Okay, so we've sanded. Most of these are fairly flat. Some of them could use a little bit more work, but that's fine. When we do prime, it's going to fill in a lot of stuff. We filled in these. These were deep holes. So I did one fill, and then I just did another fill. One of the things I did, I don't have it. Basically, I took a piece of styrene. It was a different shape. And I took the Mr. White stuff, and I put a dollop on each area that I wanted to fill. And then I took my styrene, and I gave a gentle roll like this, and then rolled back. And what it did was it filled it, and because it's flat, it shaped it so that I got that fill real nice. And you can see here, it's real smooth. This one, I ended up touching it, so I had to come back and kind of rework it. But this is very liquidy when it first starts. It gets sticky and everything else. Give it a second to get the skin on it. That's the important part. Then it won't stick as much. And then you start rolling, and it becomes easy to manipulate it. So just put a little bit down, let it sit, and then go from there. So, you know, I've got some areas where there's some bigger holes up in here. I'm going to take care of that stuff. But basically, what I've done is I've taken a stick. It's just a paint stick. You can get them at Home Depot, Lowe's. They give them away to you. Just ask if you can have some. You use them for hobbies. They're happy to just give you some. So what I do is, this is 600. This is 1500. I just glued it on, cut it, and I write what they are so I know which. You can feel. Obviously this is not, and this is rougher. But it just helps to have it written down, especially if you have multiples of this. And all I'm going to do, as you can see, I've been doing some here, is I get a paper towel. It's important to have a paper towel to wipe. You can blow it off, you can do whatever, but I just like to use paper towel. So the advantage of having it on a stick is it keeps everything flat, especially when this is a flat-ish kind of a surface. So I'm just going to go over. This is with the 600. You see, whoops, there you go, 600. And I'm not pushing hard. I'm letting the sandpaper do the work. And I'm just going to go and smooth it. This is basic body work. If you're interested in cars and car shows, or car type shows, you'll see body work being done. One of my favorites is Belos Customs. He does a lot of good lowrider stuff. And, you know, but he shows all the body work. And Bad Chad's another one that I do. Ian Roussel, all those people do really great shows and show body working. That's basically all this is basic body working. It's going to reach a point where my sandpaper is going to get really clogged. It's at that point now. You can see how it's got a lot on it. So what I do, over here so I can show you, is I'll wipe it with the, and it cleans it off. Now I'm back to a better surface. Come back, wipe this off. This lets you see what you're actually doing because the powder will come in. And you just continue essentially what I want is all the peripheral stuff to be either gone or so faint that it won't matter, because we're putting a primer on, and we're going to sand the primer, so that's going to help fill areas. That's what it's all about right now in the beginning, is prepping this. See how quickly it fills up? Prepping this for putting the primer on, and then the primer is prepping to put the paint on. So the smoother you get stuff, the better off it goes. This is going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, which is why I'm talking while I'm doing this. Usually I'll listen to some music. You can do a podcast, you can watch a show, whatever. This is just sitting here doing this, right? So if I'm flat and I go in circles, that helps get everything from all the edges. That's going to help smooth things out. You got to think of this like if this was a file and I was trying to take stuff off, right? The file teeth only go one direction. Pushing hard back and forth, you're hurting yourself. Usually the teeth are angled like this so as you're pushing, you're grinding away. The pull back, that's why the teeth are the other way and not gripping there too, is because you want to push and do whatever. Same with this. It's a push. So I'm pushing and looking more towards that kind of a thing. So I'm coming from the edge here over to it. And what that's doing is it's smoothing out this edge going to it. So I want to check, make sure I'm not causing some sort of divot. It's looking really good. Clear our paper again. And we're just going to continue smoothing. That's all it is. The more time and precision that you do here, the less you'll have to do later. You know, you're not going to have to fix things. And, you know, if we don't get this looking right, we're doing ourselves well, it really depends on what you're doing, right? My sand drag bodies, as you've seen, they are not perfect. Don't want them perfect. Why? Because I'm going to race them, so I don't want to have to, you know, if I damage it, I'm done. Said that in the beginning of this video. This is a little different. We're going full-blown custom, you know. We might do a contest with the body, you know, try to best of show kind of a thing. Again, it just depends on what you're looking to do with your specific car. Now, I'm not pushing hard, just so you know. I'm not forcing the paper down to get it to move. I'm letting it, I'm just skimming it over. The only pressure I'm putting down is to make sure that it's against the body. I'm getting a little bit of a dip there. Again, how far do we want to go, right? I think even though there's a dip there, I'm putting a couple of coats of primer on to sanding coats of primer. This is why people wonder, you know, how does a 10 or 20 or $50,000 paint job, what's the, you know, why is it that much? And, well, this is why, right? How perfect do you want it? If you're trying to get it absolutely perfect so that you don't see waves going down things, then that takes time. And time and work is money. So, yeah, I mean, paint itself is expensive. Do not get me wrong there. That's why, you know, if you buy a $50 body unpainted, you're gonna, if you're doing one color, it's simple. You know, you need two. You need your color and then the base. If you're doing 2 colors, that's 3 cans. And let's just average them at about $8 a can. Right? So now you're $50 for the body, 3 cans, that's 8, 16, $24 right there. Now you're at $75 for a body and your 2 colors. So, yeah, that's the thing. So now for me, I make a styrene body, even if I use $20, $25 in materials to make the body, and then a couple of different colors. Now I'm up to $50 for a body, but that's a done body. It's exactly the way I want it, all that stuff. So that's the big difference, is I'm making the body, so it's my labor, my time. Realistically, if I had to do it, it would be, a $7,500 body. If I was charging somebody, trying to, make it worth my time. Anyways, I'm going to get finishing on this, and then we'll have to sand down the entire body so that the primer gets on there, but that's where we'll be. I'll show you that, and then we'll get to the priming part of it, and we'll show the process there. Alright? Today's a very special day. Taking this, we're going to mask stuff off. We're going to finish sanding down just so we get a nice bite. Sanding down this body. Got just a little areas here and there. I did not do the rear holes. That's okay. I can always come back to fix those. Looks like now I got to. I did not notice that before, but yeah, we'll be filling that in too. But for right now, we're gonna sand everything down, wipe it down, and we're gonna get our first coat of primer onto this thing. So I'm gonna get finished sanding and prepping, and then I will show you once it's all sprayed gray. So this is it right now. Decent little spray, kind of unique. But soon all these little white spots will disappear and we'll have a nice clean body. So we'll get right back to it. Alright, that's been sprayed. I left it outside in the sun, which is nice. We had the sun. If you don't have the sun, if it's a cold day, whatever, we're still going to do what I do. So I've got a heat gun here, pointed about. exact. We are about 13 inches, which is about the closest I really want to be. 12, 13 inches. Pretty darn close. Turn on our heat gun on the low setting. And it's pushing down at it, which is great. Wait for that a little bit. And that should circulate hot air in through here. That's all we want. So I just take a box. It's a good size. Obviously, if you're doing bigger ones, this could have been a bigger box for sure. But it's fit everything so far, in one way or another. Yeah, I mean that's my paint booth. I'm outside, spraying to that. You can see it's got tons of colors, been used over and over and over again. And that's it. Now we just let this bake. That's the whole key. We're going to let it sit, we're going to let it bake, and we'll take a look and see where our body flaws are, where we got to fix. You can already see a couple. The nice part of putting it in a base coat like this is you really get to see everything. There's no shine. There's just a nice even coat, so you start to see all the imperfections. Same with, say, spraying black or white. But a darker color is better. That's why gray is so nice, and we shoot gray instead of white down as a primer, because it's easy to see stuff. You can see highs and lows better there than you can in a white. So we're going to let that dry. We'll start sanding a little bit, just to scuff it up again so the next coat hits. And then we move on to the next step, filling a little extra body work. Again, I know this is not terribly exciting for everybody, but those of you that are interested in it, we're going to go in depth. I'm going to put it out there. It's for you if you're interested. But this is going to be a show quality, I say. I mean, I'm not going to break my back, but we're taking our time. We're making sure that we're doing things the right way and the right steps, and taking time and allowing things to dry. So now that I've done this gets to dry for a couple of days before I even put sandpaper to it. And this is the thing about when you're going for a high quality paint job, high quality finish and everything else. Just, you let things dry. That's what you do, you know. So obviously I've masked off the side windows, the front window. It's all good, clean in there. I can continue to paint and put on my things. I don't have to worry too much around where the grill goes, because that's going to get covered up. I do want to make sure all in through the front, everywhere else, is nice and clean. But yeah, that's this part, and we'll get into the next part in a bit. Sorry if it's been loud, because this has been on as part of the process.